Saturday 8th and Sunday 9 June. It's Whitsuntide Games 2019. Carriacou James Athletic Stadium. See participating teams from Trinidad and Tobago, Montserrat, Antigua and Barbuda, Haiti, Nevis, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, French Guyana, Guadeloupe, France, and our very own local clubs and schools compete to be Whitsuntide Champion 2019. Game starts at 1 p.m. Admission $20. Saturday 8th and Sunday 9 June. Whitsuntide Games 2019. Carriacou James Athletic Stadium. Who will be Whitsuntide Champions 2019?
Eastern Caribbean Telecommunications Authority to launch mobile portability number on Monday. Details to this story and more in the national report. Welcome back. With the news for Friday, May 31st, 2019, I am Sherian Noel. The Eastern Caribbean Telecommunications Authority, ECTEL, will officially launch the mobile number portability in Grenada on Monday. Mobile number portability enables consumers to keep their current mobile telephone numbers when switching from one mobile telephone operator to another. This service removes the inconvenience of phone users having to inform their contacts, family and friends of a new number after changing their mobile service provider. ECTEL says the service will be launched in all 5 member states. A formal announcement was made on May 23rd at the 39th ECTEL Council of Ministers meeting in St. Lucia. ECTEL Council member and Grenada's Minister of Infrastructure Development, Public Utilities, Energy, Transport and Implementation, Honorable Gregory Boeing, says mobile customers in the Spice Isle have been expecting mobile number portability for quite a while.
In the case of Grenada in particular, I think that the consumers are looking to be able to switch between providers for better services, better pricing, and the other. And I know that not only the providers are being put on notice, they are acutely aware. And in fact, because of the soft launches that have been done before while we're testing, you see the migrations of people to each other. They will come to the ministry, they've asked what is going on because they want to move.
The MNP project began in 2015 with a decision by the ECTEL Council of Ministers to implement local number portability for both fixed and mobile phones. The introduction of the MNP means that consumers can now switch their attention to other telecommunications issues such as service quality, service offerings and price. Honorable Boeing said MNP will be beneficial to customers and will open up opportunities for the providers as well.
We must be able now to measure the quality of service, because I think persons coming for a new phone will look at what is the NTRC, what is ECTEL saying about this person's particular quality of service, and the new, so there's an opportunity for the provider to take the new customers. And at the same time, if they do not provide the quality of service, then you will see a shift across the board. So I think across the ECTEL states, the expectation is more or less the same.
Prime Minister and Minister of National Security, Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell, has encouraged traffic wardens to continue their good work and not to be deterred by any attempt to intimidate them. Traffic wardens were recruited, trained and deployed earlier this year to bolster the operations of the Traffic Department of the Royal Grenada Police Force. Meeting with the 43 traffic wardens on Thursday, the Prime Minister said he is impressed with their work and he has also received positive feedback from members of the public. He urged the traffic wardens to understand that they have an important role to play in the overall stability and security of the country. He said this is not just a job you are carrying out, an important function. The significance of your role is not simply limited to traffic, but it must be seen in the wider context of stability and order of this country. As you provide support to the RGPF in dealing with traffic issues, police officers can then dedicate more time to dealing proactively with crime, so that Grenada can protect its image as one of the countries with the least amount of crime.
We believe the police have enough work, so they need support specific in an area becoming more and more problem. And they should be less involved directly in the question of traffic. So that was how the concept was born. It's in the whole context of security, not just limited to traffic jam. It's much deeper than that, right? So see yourself as not just as a passing element in this area. You are part of an essential component of the stability and order of this country. I want you to first understand this. But I go further to make the point. When I pass the street and I see you guys, you have already demonstrated that you feel a sense of importance. Because I watch your faces as I go around, and you look proud to be wearing the uniform. And you make me proud to see how you look. And it tells me that you don't see this as just a job. You see that as an important function of responsibility for your own society.
The Prime Minister and Minister for National Security told traffic wardens to have no fear in executing their duties.
Some people try to scare you, to make you afraid of them. You ought not to be afraid of anything. Just do your work. Do your work. If you see something wrong on the road, you have to apply a measure of penalty to it. For doing it, do it. And fear no one. Because you have the full backing of the law behind you and the country behind you. Because people are already speaking about the discipline that they're seeing among yourselves. People are proud to see you guys out there. I'm telling you, I get it from the public. That's why I'm giving you what I get. If you were not doing that, I would tell you exactly what I'm hearing today. So I just want you, do not allow anyone to scare you off from doing what is right. If you allow them, then you're allowing them to affect your own future and your job. They have theirs. You want to keep yours. So therefore, my real advice to you, keep on doing what you're doing. We will be behind you, and you will feel a sense of satisfaction for the work that you're producing to the country as a whole.
Thursday's meeting was also attended by Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Infrastructure Development, Public Utilities, Energy and Transport, Ms. Kim Frederick, Acting Commissioner of Police Edwin Martin, Assistant Commissioner of Police Jesmond Prince, and Officer in charge of the Traffic Department, Superintendent Randy Carnott. This is the National Report. More news after the break.
The countdown is on to Grenada's most exciting music festival. Friday, 7th June is Sol EC Limited Rhythm and Soul Night with Kerry Hilson, the legendary Freddie Jackson, Eddie Bullen, and Jefferson Ramirez. Saturday, 8th June is Wester Hall Rum Reggae Fest featuring Busy Signal, Maxi Priest, Kimani Marley, Tamara St. Bernard, and more. The festival climaxes on Sunday, 9th June with a George F. Huggins Soca Fusion featuring the All-Stars with Tennyson John and Blacks, Patrice Roberts, Wes Ways, Jab King, and more. Gates open 7 p.m., showtime 9 p.m. Advance tickets $80 Friday and Saturday, $60 on Sunday, and are available island-wide. Limited VIP and season tickets at Grenada Optical and GoToFet.com. Grenada Music Festival 2019. Get your tickets today. Sponsors: Silver Sands Grenada, Hennessy, the Antillian Group, Coca-Cola, St. George's University, Glenelg Springwater, and Netherlands Insurance.
Possessing the ability to speak a second or even third language is essential in today's world. The Alliance Francaire is working with grade 6 students of the St. Martin de Porres RC School to stir their interest in the subject at an early age. The 4-week program introduces the students who are gearing up to commence secondary school in September to basic greetings and responses. Rikisha St. Louis paid a visit to the school and filed this report.
With reports that the number of students writing French at the CXC level has been dwindling over the years, the Alliance Française wants to revive interest in the language. The number of students attending private French lessons offered by the institution is also getting smaller. Director at the Alliance Française, Mrs. Ilona Fort-Gilbert, said by introducing French in primary schools, there is hope that most students will develop an interest and continue to study the language at the CXC level and beyond.
Brainstorming to see how we can curb that problem, see how we can try to control it at the root. I came up with the idea that maybe we should try to see how we can introduce it at the primary level, because there was a program introducing French at the primary level a few years ago. It was financed by the French embassy, but it didn't pull through, right? So I thought that I'll start with one school, and of course, since this is my alma mater, I was biased towards this school, so I decided to offer my voluntary service to this school and eventually see how we could extend it to other schools in the coming years.
She says the program also highlights the importance of the language and the many professions available locally within the French industry.
We have a growing French community. We have about 60 persons here on the island, French nationals, and then we have French cruise ships coming in every year. So we need to be able to accommodate these people. They go to the supermarkets, they go to the banks, they do business. There should be people in these business places who can at least have a basic conversation with these people when they come.
Principal Castellanes is optimistic that the program will be expanded to include other grades in the school.
The students, as they are learning the French, throughout the compound, you're hearing them reciting the words, reciting the phrases, the occupations, and so that they are learning. And the other students are hearing also, and they are catching on into it. So it is our hope that somewhere along the line we would be able to incorporate the other students into learning, and we believe that this can have a ripple effect, because we do hope that in the future some of the students who start their French classes here can go on, complete their secondary education, maybe go on to tertiary education, and at the end of it return to the school so that they can give back.
The students are enjoying the program and shared some of what they have learned.
Bonjour, je m'appelle Selena McIntyre. It is very good. I'm enjoying myself actually. It's really fun to learn another language. Bonjour, je m'appelle Destiny Abraham. I really enjoy the French class. I learned the alphabet, how to say I don't understand, how to say yes miss, how to say no miss, how to say I know, how to say what is your name, and lots of other stuff.
Bonjour, je m'appelle Shoaib Bartolome. I think French helped me by having a good head start in secondary school, so I can be a little farther than the other students in secondary school.
For the National Report, I am Rikisha St. Louis.
And finally, the Traffic Department of the Royal Grenada Police Force took its message of road safety to the streets this week, with students and teachers from St. George's adding their voices to the initiative. It is part of Police Week activities under the theme, United We Stand to Fight Against Sexual Abuse and Violent Crimes, promoting road safety and practicing healthy lifestyles. With as many as 200 reported cases of accidents per month, 10 of which are serious, the RGPF used Wednesday's exercise to appeal to drivers and pedestrians to ensure safety on the road. Inspector Randall Batiste, officer attached to the Traffic Department, says the public must meet them halfway to ensure life and limb are protected.
The Traffic Department of the Royal Grenada Police Force will continue to do what is necessary to ensure that our roads users are kept safe on the nation roads, and the ways we'll go about doing this is by having regular mobile and radar patrol, meaning that we'll have officers up there doing a number of speed checks, and we'll be doing a lot of nightly and weekly traffic checks and traffic operations to ensure that we keep the road safe and deal with all illegal activities that may occur during our presence on the road. We chose that by having these regular checks, it will definitely aid in a deterrent to prevent crimes, to prevent traffic offenses from being committed. And that would be a plus for us if our presence can be of a deterrent. We'll have less offenses, traffic offenses being committed on our roads. And if we can cut down on the amount of traffic offenses on our roads, that in itself will aid in a reduction of accidents and will definitely make our road much safer.
He commended the exemplary work of the traffic wardens who are helping to increase road safety.
As we know now, we have a number of wardens working throughout the Tri-Island state, and traffic by no means least has about 11 to 14 wardens operating, and they are doing a very, very good job at this time in giving human resource that is most needed right now at the traffic department, dealing with all different traffic infractions. So I want to say hats off to them and commend them for the job they have been doing thus far.
Now to recap the top story. Eastern Caribbean Telecommunications Authority to launch mobile portability number on Monday. And with this, we come to the end of the National Report for Friday, May 31st. On behalf of the entire news team, I'm Sherian Noel, thanking you for viewing.
Morning to you, bro.
Rasta moving on. Yes, I'm moving on. Good Lord.
Mr. Watts, you and the family, home circle, good morning.
To the valley as I walk, persecutors on my back. I never get weary, Rasta.
Also saying a very special good morning to you, WeiVybz, yeah?
That's what I did.
Zingo, Evelyn, Alexander, the original madman. Everything else is just photocopy.
Cause my faith in my Father is what's keeping me alive.
Patricia and Matthew out there in Canada, good morning.
It's coming, but I know I will survive.
Ian in Canada, good morning. It's an open line morning. Beautiful Monday on the Isle of Spice. Getting some splatters of showers in different parts of the island. But seriously dominated by the sunshine, eh? Yeah, we can't leave that one like that, man. We had to pull that one from the top, man. Yeah, we had to take that one right from the top.
Why should I get weary? Tell me why should I? Why should I? No way. Lord, 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 the Lord is so heavy. Oh, yeah. I'm moving on. Yes, I'm moving on. Stage by stage, I never get weary. No, I never get weary. Sorrows and laughter, time of fear, good and bad, I had my share. I never get weary. No, I never get weary. Just like the breeze that blowing high on the mountain top, I can't stay still. I gotta keep moving.
Already the Atlantic seems to be active, huh? So you need to put your hurricane plan in place, your disaster plan in place.
Lord,
you know, sometimes you're waiting for hurricane and earthquake that hit, yeah.
Gonna do the best I can.
Sometimes you're looking out for earthquake and it's volcano that hit.
Let the system hold me down. But when my
sometimes you're looking out for nothing and tsunami that hit, yeah.
Let me down for nothing more and nothing less. Still charge and put my soul to rest. Hey.
Good morning to you, Neil.
Why should I? Oh, I never get weary. Oh, I never get trial and crosses in my way. I still gonna find some time to pray. I never get weary. Rasta never get weary. When temptation comes on strong, I've got to face it like a man. I never get weary. No, I never get weary. Cause in this time where pleasure and danger walking side by side, I can't stay still, I gotta keep moving. There ain't no place to hide.
Yes, so for those of you in the constituency of St. Andrew Northeast, remember those of you that need to do your application for the school uniform voucher program, you've got to do your application. You need to walk with your national ID. And today the team is at the constituency office in Dunfermline. They've been there from 8 o'clock this morning, and they're dealing specifically with the people of Simon, Paradise, and Dunfermline. So those of you from Simon, Paradise, Dunfermline, they're dealing with you all today. So they've been there from 8 o'clock. You can head on over there right now.
On my back, I never get weary, Rasta never get weary.
Go on out and register, yeah?
So the reward hatred
For those of you in Tivoli and Belmont, that's Belmont St. Andrew. The team from St. Andrew Northeast, they'll be at the Tivoli RC School tomorrow from 2 p.m. So again, those of you in Tivoli and Belmont, they say that should cover a Homer as well, yeah?
That is when
Not sure, I'm not seeing a Homer. But Tivoli and Belmont, they are the Tivoli RC School tomorrow from 2 p.m.
I'm gonna do the best I
Someone from the office, let me know if a Homer is covered in that as well.
But when my work is over, that is when I lay me down.
And those of you in Bel Air, Carriacou, let me see, Bel Air, Carriacou, Moya, Conference, Bel Air, Carriacou, Moya, and Conference.
Rasta never get weary.
Your day is on Wednesday.
I've got to face it like
and you're going to the Bel Air Government School from 1 p.m.
I never get weary. Cause in this
the last group for today for this week will be La Poterie. And the team will be out in the La Poterie Community Center from 8 a.m. on Friday. Other constituencies, feel free to send your information.
Oh my God.
So this is specific to individuals who are registering for the uniform voucher program, yeah?
Best I can. I'm gonna be up full brave.
You have X amount of children, you can't make ends meet, and you need assistance, yeah, you need to head on out and check them.
That is when I lay me down for nothing more and nothing less.
The team for Southeast, they were out at the Library Community Center yesterday. Yeah, they were out. That's the team for St. George Southeast.
Yes, I'm moving on.
Awaiting information from some of the other constituencies.
Through the valley as I walk, persecutors on my back. I never get weary, Rasta never get weary. Some say that's what I deserve, so the reward is
the Big Six of the St. Andrews Cricket Council. Yeah, their competition starts on the 16th of June. Yeah. I'll be taking place at the following playing grounds: Pearls Playing Field, Ford Playing Field, Mount Horn Playing Field. So they'll be at Pearls, Ford, and Mount Horn. Each game starting from 11:30 a.m. Come on out and support the different teams. Two teams will be advancing to the Big Six with a payout of over $35,000 in payouts for this year, yeah? St. Andrews Cricket Council, man, yeah. $35,000 in payouts for this year from the St. Andrews Cricket Council. Division 1, 2, and 3. The first prize, $5,000. Second prize, $3,000. And the third prize, $1,000, yeah? So that's the Big Six at the St. Andrews Cricket Council.
Trial and crosses in my way. I still gonna find some time to pray. I never get weary.
The St. Andrews Southwest Women's Arm. Remember, they have their Father's Day King Show coming up on the 16th of June as well. That's going to be at the Deluxe Cinema in Grenville. Yeah, to bring it inside the cinema because it's going to be a movie.
Walking side by side.
Starting time 5 p.m. Price of your tickets only $20.
There ain't no place to hide.
6 handsome fathers will be there vying for the crown.
Oh my God, I gotta move along.
You're paying $20 for $1 million show, yeah.
I'm gonna do the best.
Good morning to you, the Honorable Yolande Bay in Horsford. Lovely lady.
System hold me down, but when my work is over, that is when I lay me down for nothing more.
National Party would like to thank each and every one of you that came out in your numbers on Friday.
Yes, I'm on.
Yeah, at the Mount Helicon. I was around, man. Yeah, me and Jamil was jamming. Yeah.
As I walk, persecutors on my back. I never get weary.
Many of you came out and said hello. Yeah.
Some say that
a good partner. He come early, man. He come and he set up himself early with the food and thing, man. And he take a look at drink and he stay there long. Yeah. Forgetting your name, man. You sit down right by me, man. Yeah.
It's what
elderly gentleman. Yeah. You come early.
coming, but I know I will survive.
Got to interact with the Prime Minister and other ministers of government.
Oh, Lord, 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 Lord. Hey.
Remember the next big one, eh? Yeah, they have the bingo coming up on the 22nd.
I'm gonna be up, brave and strong.
But also we have the all-day carnival fete coming up. Yeah.
That is when I lay me down for nothing more and nothing less. Till judge I put my soul to rest. When my walk is over, that is when I'll fly away. Brave and strong. Oh yes, that is when I'll lay me down. Till my father say, I gotta move on, Lord.
Until my work is over, I'm gonna be up full, brave and strong. Can't let the system hold me down. But when my work.
Yes, indeed. I say a special good morning to all of you that are jamming on the live this morning. Hope that you're having a wonderful morning this morning and everything is going your way. All right. Yeah, I'm seeing Avron there. I'm seeing Matthew. Yeah, there this morning, Louisa. I'm seeing all of you on the live this morning. Remember to like and share the live like I am doing right now. I'm making sure that I like it. Yeah, as me, not as hard talk. I'm liking as me and I'm sharing as me. Yeah, so Sheldon, just like and share the live. All right. So each and every one of you right now, like and share the live. All right. I said we're opening the phone line so you can call in. Huh? Yeah, nice. Yeah. Like and share the live.
From the cradle to the grave, little by little, stage by stage, I never get weary. I never get weary. Sorrows and laughter, time of fear, good and bad.
I need to say a very special happy birthday.
I never get weary, just like the breeze that blowing.
Sergeant Nicholas out there at Immigration in Carriacou.
I gotta keep moving.
Happy birthday to you.
Stop.
Woo, yes, indeed.
Why should I?
Imagine you get to work and spend your birthday in paradise, huh?
Lord, until my work is over.
Have a wonderful one.
The best I
know the rest of the officers and the people of Carriacou will ensure that you have a wonderful day today, Sergeant Nicholas.
But when my work
and a special glorious Grenadian good morning to each and every one of you, men and women of the Royal Grenada Police Force. Hope that you're having a fabulous day today. Those of you in the prison service.
I never get.
Those of you traffic wardens, next thing they deal with me. Let's tell them traffic wardens good morning too.
My way, I still gonna find some time to pray. I never get weary.
Customs officers, good morning to you. Good morning to all of the bus drivers taking our nation's people safely from point to point.
I never get weary.
Good morning to you. 5 minutes to the hour of 11 o'clock.
In this time with pleasure.
So remember I was saying earlier, you need to put your disaster plan in place. If you hear right now that there is a hurricane heading to Grenada, what do you do? Yeah?
Until my work is over,
what does your family do?
I'm gonna be up full brave and
if you're a business owner or a business manager, what does your business, your operation, your factory, your office, what do you do? What is your disaster management plan? If there's an earthquake right now, what do you do? Yeah? What do you do if an earthquake, if the earth starts to shake and we don't get any warning on that? You don't hear 3 and 4 days before that, look, an earthquake gonna come. Yeah, it just comes. That boom, place start to shake. What do you do? Yeah? What does your organization do? Does everyone in your office start to scream for their mommy? What do you as an organization and you as an individual do? Huh? Nice.
It's coming, but I know I will survive.
Good morning to the Honorable Kindra Matthew and Stewart.
That is when.
Hey, and good morning to Mr. Nigel Stewart as well. I think he might be in court right now, so he won't hear it. Tati, yeah. Let me tell you guys about Tati, yeah? Tati is a person that's been following Hard Talk from the very first program to now, eh? Tati, you know, just reach, eh? Tati has been following Hard Talk from day one.
When my walk is over, that is when.
Tati, one of these days you have to let us know what's going on in Venezuela, huh?
That is when.
Although you're here, we know you would find out what's going on.
Till my father say, till my father say, I gotta move on.
I'm seeing the Honorable Kindra Matthew and Stewart, yeah? Over this weekend, we had the 19-seater, yeah, landing in Carriacou, making the return trip to Grenada, Carriacou. Yeah, the 19-seater. A lot of people, they're scared of taking the plane to Carriacou because they're afraid of the small plane, the 9-seater or 7-seater, whatever it is. They're afraid of that plane. Oh, I love it. I don't know what people are afraid of. I just love that. The smaller the plane, the better for me. I like it. But anyhow, I'm not everybody. But other folks, they've been concerned about the small plane. They're kind of afraid, kind of coward. Nice? Although I like it. Others coward. So they want to go on the 19-seater. And SVG Air, as they did state recently, and as the Honorable Kindra Matthew Stewart also stated during her quarterly press briefing, that they were in negotiation and consultations, yeah, to return the 19-seater into service in Carriacou. There are one or two things structurally, infrastructurally, etc., that have to be addressed, but they have started the testing right now of the 19-seater on the Carriacou route. Because usually when you call SVGA and you try to get a flight into Carriacou, you always hear that the flight is booked solid, the flight is booked solid, the flight is booked solid. And there is the other issue that the aircraft that are being used between Grenada and Carriacou right now, the company, I think it's Beechcraft or British, one of those companies in the UK, that company more than likely will be closing soon. And it is against international airline regulations to fly an aircraft commercially. Listen specifically to what I'm saying, eh? It is against international regulations to operate an aircraft commercially if the company that produces that aircraft is no longer in operation. So in other words, if I have a company and I've produced the Sheldon lines of aircraft, yeah, like Sheldon 1, Sheldon 2, Sheldon 3, and then my company goes out of business, while privately you can own and fly my aircraft still. You can own one and you fly it. It don't matter if my company closed down. That is up to you. That's your business. You could fly it privately. But commercially, as in providing a service to other people, as in providing a service as in an airline, you cannot have that aircraft in service. If Boeing were to close down right now, all Boeing aircraft would have to be pulled from service immediately. Yeah? Any aircraft that is in service and the company that produces it goes out of business, the international law is that has to go out, that aircraft has to go out of commercial service. Individuals can own it and have it, use it for their own personal thing, but for commercial, as in running it as an airline or a cargo vessel, it cannot be used. And that is the upcoming situation with the aircraft. Nothing is wrong with the aircraft, huh? That's the upcoming situation with the aircraft that ply the route between Grenada and Carriacou. That the company that produces them may soon close. That's the Islander aircraft. And as such, replacements have to be found. They cannot be used to transport people between the islands again. But they do have the 19-seaters, and they are testing the 19-seaters now between the Grenada and Carriacou route to see how effective it is and how it's working. So yesterday, I believe the first flight, they had tested the first one with the 19-seater yesterday. Everything went all well and okay. In fact, I believe the minister was on the flight with her family. So they were able to transport them between Grenada and Carriacou and then the return flight. Yeah, so things happening. Yeah, things are happening. You know, certain people mightn't like to hear that, huh?
Father, I am a prayer for my country. I want to say a prayer.
Let me send out some wedding anniversary greetings.
I want to say a prayer for all them politicians.
So Mr. Samuel John and Mrs. Stephanie John. Mr. Samuel John, I know you're down there at First Caribbean Bank. And Mrs. Stephanie John, 24th anniversary, wedding anniversary. This is coming from your daughter Tati.
Now the time is right for us to renew.
And we're also sending it to you from the Hard Talk family. We know that you all are also listeners, avid listeners to Hard Talk as well. Yeah, they've been, as a family, they've been following Hard Talk from early up, you know. Good morning to you, Denise.
To find solutions for we problems. Oh, Father, I pray for every minister to see eye to eye with each other. Oh, Father.
We say a special good morning to the Honorable Emlyn Pear. Yeah, she had a very successful event in Marquis this weekend, yes?
And a whole lot of
the Marquis Breakfast Village.
Father, I pray for the police, please.
I ain't reach up by city photos, boy. I see some food pass there, we, Papa.
Oh, Father, I pray for the judge and the jury and those who begging for them mercy. Oh, Father.
440-7377, and for those of you outside of Grenada, 347-329-3101. As we said, open line today. No, yesterday I was listening again to the NDC program, and I tend to listen to it because I love to hear some of them make idiots of themselves. I love to hear the fact that some of them do not know what they're talking about. And third, I love to listen to them because it gives a clear indication that these individuals are no way to be considered for leadership of this country. Yeah, I listened to them yesterday. I hear they talking about Imani.
Oh, Father, I pray for the minister.
The Prime Minister made a statement. The Prime Minister said that he has met various young people who have been in the Imani for an extended period of time, and that within the teaching service, there are Imani trainees who are carrying out functions the same as some people who are full teachers, and they are not being paid as teachers, they're being paid as Imani, and that has to be regularized, yeah?
Oh, Father.
That's something I would hope to hear the Teachers Union president coming out and applauding. I would think I would hear somebody like Lloyd and Lewis coming out and saying, listen, Mr. Prime Minister, we agree with you. Those people who have been working for so long as assistant teachers, that you all need to consider either sending them to teachers' college or taking them full-time into the teaching service. Because what the Prime Minister mentioned is the exit strategy, yeah? He didn't say that there isn't an exit strategy. And I don't know where, for a lawyer, I think Claudette talks a lot of nonsense at times for a lawyer. I don't know. I mean, seriously. You're speaking in 2019 with an educated, intelligent, intellectual public. So you can't go there making these half-truths, innuendos, and done statements and expect people to remain unanswered. You can't do that. Yeah? Because some of the nonsense that she was speaking there, for instance, in relation to the Imani, There is an exit strategy. I would know. Ask me. I could tell you. There is an exit strategy for individuals who come into the Imani program. You come into the Imani program and then you branch off. What has been happening is that many persons are not finalizing. They're not going to that next stage. So after 2 years within the program, you ought to go, either you go into small business. And there are many that have gone into small business from the Imani program. So you may be training with somebody, learning a particular vocation. You may be learning, for instance, to sew. So you may go by Dali and you learn to sew. Right? Realize you have talent and so on, and you have several options. One, Dali may say, well, it's coming up to the graduation time. I'm going to have to make some blazers, and I'm going to have to make some pants, and I'm going to have to make some gowns and different things like that. So I'm going to hire you. I'm going to take you out of Imani, and I'm going to hire you permanently, because as soon as that is done, then we have some people who may want their outfits made for Carnival, and then we have some people who during that time, as people are coming down during the summer, you have a lot of weddings that take place during the months of July, August, as people get the opportunity and the family is all here during that period of time. Yeah, then you have the June brides sort of thing. So you have June brides, you have July, August with people coming down for the summer to get married and to take the same time and play the mass in Carnival. And then immediately after that, you have back to school. So you have uniforms to sew. Yeah? So you have various people, come my dear, you have various people that would need the service. So there is an exit strategy. There are various avenues that you can go into. Yeah, so I don't understand why she coming with that kind of nonsense and that kind of thing. But we go deal with she another time.
I am a prayer for my country. I want to say a prayer to the Lord for my nation. I want to say a prayer for all them politicians. I want to beg the master to brighten their vision.
Yes, folks, and we do have what am I hearing here now? Yeah, good, nice. Folks, we do have a guest in studio with us. Yeah, she just arrived. She's on time. Yeah, she is on time. Good morning to you, Miss Oslin Crosby.
Good morning, Sheldon, all your listeners, your viewers, because I know you're also going live. So, good morning to everyone.
Yeah, that's why. Watch, if you see how nice you're looking on camera there. Oh, gosh, Lord God have mercy. If a hurricane was coming, it turn.
We don't want any. So that's a good thing.
So you're here representing the National Disaster Management Authority, Agency Authority. I'm saying it wrong. Is that
Agency.
Agency?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's agency.
It's authority, it's agency, but I think it's agency.
At least it's not Nero.
No.
Yeah, because Nero watch while Rome they burn, so you know that does go. Anyhow, Nadma, you all have started a week of activities this week.
Yes. We are officially into the season. The season has started. Would have done so on Saturday. So what we would have done is plan a week of activities where we can use it as what would you call it? A trampoline to kick off preparation. People knowing it's more a case of repeating what we say every year, and throughout the year actually be prepared. So we want to remind you. But what we're doing during this week is taking the message closer to the public. So we're going into the schools, the secondary schools we're doing presentations with. Actually, we started this morning. So a number of secretariat staff and district coordinators would have gone to some of our schools this morning. Secondary schools, we have Community Engagement Day, where we will be going into the communities, speaking, sharing information on hazards, but also to hear from you. And it's more so to us about hearing from you than just we sharing information with you. We're always sharing information with you. So now we're trying to flip the coin. Let us hear from you. Let us hear from you. Tell us What are your thoughts on what we do, how we do it? Are we reaching you? Do we need to do it different? What would you prefer we do? That kind of thing. So we're using the week to touch base, assess what we do as we move forward into the season. So that is what we are doing this week. So we started off, the senator would have done the national address on the weekend. On Saturday that was done. We would have sent messages to the churches. So that was read on Saturday and Sunday, denominations at worship on both days. Today, we kick off with all the media engagements. So I was on GIS this morning. I'm here now. Senator Mr. McIntyre and Mr. White will be on Beyond the Headlines later, where we get to speak on predictions for the season, government's policy direction for NADMA's what we do, guiding our work. Mr. McIntyre would speak to what NADMA has done, is doing, what to expect from us for the season. And that will go on for the entire week. As I said, the presentations in schools or community engagement day. We have the final of the quiz on Thursday at the Red Cross conference room, where there will be 6 schools vying for the title of NADMA's, the coveted title of NADMA's primary school quiz champion for 2019. The defending champs is there, St. Joseph's RC from St. David. We have Woburn Methodist. We have St. Andrew's RC. We have St. John's Anglican. We have Dover Government out of Carriacou. All will be here on Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning, where they will be going off at it. It's going to be a competitive one. So far, the competition went well, and we are looking forward to a very, very keenly competed final on Thursday. And then we wrap up on Friday with an open house in front of the Esplanade Mall out in town, where if you're in St. George's, come on over. You have a question. And as we continue to remind you, what we're saying is not anything different. All we're asking you to do is be prepared. But not just be prepared for the hurricane season, be prepared for all hazards that have the opportunity to affect us at any time. Last year we went into the hurricane season, and then we had that 6.9 earthquake that rocked us. If it was a little stronger, it could have initiated a tsunami. If we had to respond, do we know what we had to do? And that's what's important. It is important that we know how to respond when we have to in times of hazards impacting us at any time.
Well, on Friday, we had a conversation with Senator the Honorable Simon Steele, and he dealt with several climate issues that are affecting Grenada. Well, not just Grenada, but worldwide is affecting. We have been seeing really intense hurricanes over the past few years. And he also mentioned certain things that was very shocking and worrying to a lot of people. One, that we would see increased flooding on the Carriacou within the next 5 years. He didn't say 20, 30, or 34. So we could see the Carriacou starting.
Like tomorrow, right?
Yeah, we could see the Carriacou starting to look like Venice after a while. But specifically during heavy rainfalls, when you have high tide, that you can see, and we have seen
we
it
already seen it. I was just about to say that we already seen it. Whenever tides are high, and let's say we might just be affected by a simple trough system, just a little one. And remember, that's the first stage. We see it comes to the grills. Vehicles cannot pass. It's almost like the waves are in the road. So we're already seeing it. And the thing is, if we have, and that's what I always say, there's proof of it. Why do we need to see it get worse? We need to start changing what we do now.
Yeah, because already we're seeing that happening there, and that's mainly due to the outflow. Because if you look at the Carriacou, it's like a bowler.
It is a bowl. It's a horseshoe.
Yeah, it's the outflow from up by the police and the hospital, and
because remember, everything's
Lucas
coming from
Street, everywhere. Lucas
coming
Street,
from the high points, and you're going down to
the
there.
Carriacou.
It is like a catchment area, so everything's running down to it.
So we're seeing more and more flooding there, and by the year 2035, if no remedial work is done, we could see the Carriacou itself submerged, always underwater, not just during rain, but we could see it always underwater.
You see, and these are the things we have to guard against. But while there are things we can do, we know that there are things that are completely out of our hands, out of our control, because climate change is a global phenomenon, and we are feeling and seeing the effects. And as it is, and I know as Senator would have highlighted in his in his address, national address, because of the same climate change. That's why we have now emerging the Irmas and the Marias, where they're jumping categories. You start at 1, you hear them now at 1, the next time you check they're at 5. And they're hitting you winds of 155 plus miles an hour. I mean, if we were to speak, let's go back to 2017 of Irma and Maria. Irma and Maria were special systems, you know. I'm sure those names were retired because they would have caused that much. They were. They would have caused that much damage. And we have to ask ourselves the question, what are we doing to contribute to climate change? The little things are what adding up. We may not be the manufacturing powerhouses of the world where we pump a lot of the gases and so up there. But the little things we are doing here is creating it is changing our environment the same way. So our systems now are a lot stronger. A lot stronger. Look at, and everything now is to the extreme. We're still into that prolonged dry season. The hurricane season would have started. The wet season has started. But you listen to the radio programs and you hear people calling they've had no water in days. So it continues. It continues. So the dry season are longer and harsher. The wet seasons are longer and harsher. August 1st last year, a reminder, flooding. St. David, St. George, extensive flooding, over 100 plus slides. We need to do things differently.
And over the past few years, we've been seeing some weird occurrences. We
Yes.
had that flooding that took place in St. John a few years ago.
The flash flooding, they just pop up, and there is little way.
In Las Sages and various areas, as you mentioned, with all of the landslides. So.
Little, and there's little notice that you can give to them. They just pop up on you. The sun is hot in St. George's, and Gov is washing away.
With that said, you've said that there's a different approach. What we had before, having Nero and how Nero approached disaster management. Not that they approached it wrong, but at that time it was a different system and different situation you were dealing with. And how NADMA is dealing with the situation now and the systems that are being put in place. What are some of the things that are being put in place now to deal with emergency situations?
Sheldon, now what we are focusing heavily on is that of mitigation and preventative measures. So we're not waiting to get to that part of the disaster management cycle where we have to respond. Because what we recognize in that of, from since Ivan, and Ivan was a wake-up call for us in many circles, on many, many levels. What we're doing now is preaching, getting the message home of preparation, prepare to minimize what can happen. With the hazards that we have no control over systems coming. They will come whether or not, well, we don't ever call them, but they come. How can we minimize damage to our home, to our lives being disrupted for too long, our businesses being thrown off as if they were not expecting it? We must prepare. So we're focusing heavily on that preparation. So before the season would have started, we held a number of capacity building workshops and sessions with our committees in the our district committees. So ensuring that we equip you so that when they were to come, then we know that we can respond more effectively. Because, as I said, you don't worry about the things you have no control over, which are the systems. What you need to ensure is that we put our house in order.
Indeed. And, Lord, as you mentioned, put our house in order. We're hearing that NADMA may be relocating from their present location.
We are.
Looking at it.
That conversation has started. Well, actually, it started not just last year, since 2017, and that of the construction of a new headquarters. That is been. It is something that it's a project been funded by the U.S. government. So that discussions and that are ongoing, but at the policy level. Senator and Mr. McIntyre and others. As we get closer to breaking ground and so on it, more information we will share. But yes, that is one of the plans in the pipeline to ensure that the agency responsible for responding to hazards when they affect us, that we are housed in a place that can withstand hazards when they pop up, one, and two, that we have equipment, tools that we need to work. Because you know that whenever it happens, we relocated, you live there until until things settle down.
You really want to live where they right now. You don't want to live there.
We're working with what we have. It works for now. It is our coordinating center, the national coordinating center. But of course, betterment is in the pipeline. Government is working towards it. As I said, discussions are ongoing on it. So more information, and not only us, because Carriacou would also be getting a warehouse under that project. So it is something to look forward to. We are looking forward to it. But in the meantime, we're working with what we have and making the best of it.
Nice, indeed. And folks, in case you want to call in and ask a question, the number 440-7377. That's 440-7377. And for those of you in the US, Canada, UK, 347-329-3101. Those are the numbers for you to call and get on to the inside of Hard Talk. Ms. Crosby, need to ask you, what is the forecast looking like for 2019 hurricane-wise?
What we know from preliminary data, preliminary forecast, we're expecting a normal season this year, a normal season. The preliminary was that it would be a below average season. We were looking at 13.5 and 2, 13 named storms. We know that Andre already gone because she popped up long before the season started. And she was a subtropical system. We're looking at 5 systems to be developed into hurricanes and 2 to be major. So it's not looking to be quite a busy season, but we don't want that prediction to make us become complacent. So we continue to guard against that. Don't worry too much about above average or normal or below average. What we wanted to do is just be prepared. Be prepared as though it is going to be, it's a prediction of an above average season. So let us put our house in order, check your storage. What are some of the things that we should do, that we encourage you to do? At this point this morning, I realized we got a shower. And that I guess that was telling us that we're in the season. I may not be coming as much as you think I should yet, but I'm coming. We are here. So open up your drains around your home, your gutters, and so that filled with the leaves from the fall season that we just coming out of practically, because we know that the cottons are all over and the leaves are there all over the place.
Yeah, tell Asma about it.
I know, and they're raising everything. So clear your gutters. Open up your drains, and so ensure that the water can run off from your property. But remember, it's not just about you. You have your neighbor on the other side that you realize he or she's not doing anything. Come, pull them up, call them. What are we doing? Let's do something. Because remember, you may open up the drain for the water to run off your property, but your neighbor who has not done or is not doing anything, water's coming from their property and running onto yours and flooding you. So it has to be a community focus. Get everybody involved, because at the end of the day, when hazards affect us, it doesn't only affect the neighbor, not you, it will affect all of us. So let us remind each other of our role, do what we need to do to ensure that at the end of the day we are prepared for whatever comes.
And as we get to the issue of being prepared, let's get into the nuts and bolts right now. As NADMA, how are we looking in relation to hurricane shelters? Have the hurricane shelters been visited, sorted
Shelters
out?
has been inspected. They were inspected. What we have now is we had the engineers actually just about last week go in and ensure that what team would have gone out and said that it's the case. The shelters will be released this week. It is possible, I know it must, it has to go to cabinet. Once it gets to cabinet, then we should be able to release those lists by, I'm thinking next week as the latest. So where are your primary and secondary shelters, but we have done that. And in addition to that, we should also speak of the improvements that we would have made to 11 of the shelters on the Sister Isle. You have some on the Sister Isle and also on the mainland, where we would have done through a project that we abbreviate as the CCDRMF, the Canadian Caribbean Risk Management Fund, where some 11 shelters were equipped with access for people living with disabilities. So we would have put in ramps. The Grenada Council for the Disabled would have donated stuff that we can use, the equipment that makes it easier for toilet access and so for the people living with disability, the rails and the toilet seats, even the walkers and so that they need to move around in the shelters were donated to NADMA to ensure that we are ready for the season. It's not just about the people that can run in. We also have to be considerate, because remember, shelters are for everyone. Our doors are open for everyone, and we have to be prepared for everyone when they come in. We would have also included that of equipping our shelters with backup water storage. We had a project that were implemented by NAWASA, funded through SEDIMA, our regional parent body, to over $200,000, where some 17 schools would have received 1,000-gallon tanks. So, and these schools, remember, schools are shelters. Most of them are shelters. So if we have to open up our shelters, if something were to happen, that there's a pending system, or something were to happen and we have to open up our shelters, we know that water is not a concern. Access to people living with disability won't be a concern. And of course, it means that we would have done what we needed to do to ensure that we're ready for this season.
One of the major concerns, and it's 27 minutes after the hour of 11 o'clock, 27 minutes after the hour of 11 o'clock. One of the major concerns, as you hear in the general public, and we end up into this conundrum every year for the past few years, we've ended up in this. There's a system out there, and you see all sorts of postings on social media all of a sudden. Before NADMA has sent out anything, before anything official has come out from NADMA or from the Point Salines Met Service or the government of Grenada, you see all sorts of stuff just floating across social media, panicking Grenadians. I really hope something is being put in place to address that this year. Let me hear you on that one.
I am happy that you touched it. It is, how should I call it? It is what you call a sore foot for us. You know, you have, old people talk about...
Perfect analogy.
It is a sore foot for us. And it's almost as if, well, no matter what you do, we all know what sore foot is. It can't dry. It ain't drying no matter what you try. So we're taking it from a different angle this time around. We would have met with some of our media people last week, which are conduits. And we know that that is our line, that is the medium through which we send information. And oftentimes, Sheldon, you know what is our reality? While it is our conduit, it is the lines that take the message to the people, it is also one of the areas where we have our challenge. Whenever we send out something, we say to you that NADMA is the official voice when it comes to disaster-related information. When it concerns systems such as hurricanes and pending systems, tsunamis, flooding would fall under most of our hazards, then our Met Services is what we consider to be our warning center. They are the ones that would have the technical information and can advise accordingly. But of course, we know that with access to information comes our challenge. Anyone can go up on the Hurricane Center and see where the systems are. The Hurricane Center would share information with each and every Met Service in the region. All. We know that every Met Service, that they are in divisions. So they have the Grenada, we're under Trinidad. So our Met Service speaks to Trinidad. Trinidad, of course, has a bigger operation than we do. So they would, even if we would see it here, they would share information. Hurricane Center send, you analyze and you share. And as they always tell you, you would go onto their site, yes, and you see the systems, but listen to your local forecasters, as they will be able to narrow it down for you to let you know what are the conditions that you can expect within your space and when it will come. What our challenge is, we have people going up online, seeing things, and we know that unless you can verify something that you see in the media, on the internet, you don't share. It is irresponsible. It makes our work very, very challenging. Very, very challenging. How do we combat this? We're going to share information, yes. You're going to get the information. But when you get it, because you would have shared something that you saw before that is not true, then why would people believe you now when you get information from us? How we are working at this? One, we are looking at legislations to see how we can curb that problem. It is similar to that of when we had the case of people just posting things online on Facebook. just irresponsibly doing so. Now we see the Electronic Crimes Act. Now we have the Electronics Crimes Act that was passed and of course is being implemented. And I know that was one of the reasons why, to curb that irresponsible use of social media. Do we want to get to that point? But in disaster management, it is critical that we do. Because we know that everything that you put out there that creates panic is a matter of national security and not just a case where people just riled up. It is a case of national security. And we have to guard against this. We must guard against this. That is our challenge, Sheldon. When we met with our media people last week, that was one of the things that we highlighted. What we are planning to do by the middle of July is to host this, when we actually can get the facilitator here, is to host a workshop for all media people, to equip all media people with the tools that you need on how to disseminate, manage, and share information when it concerns hazards, be it a hurricane, a tsunami, whatever it is, earthquake, so that you don't just share it because you see it. You share it and you do so responsibly. You give people enough information. We'll be sharing sites that you can go on to get information, past information on former systems, how people can prepare, what you should look forward to. These are all the things that we plan to share with you, with our media people during that time. These are the things that we want to that we will be working at. So that is how we plan to tackle it. In addition to using a lot more of social media. So from today, we start off with our tips, and so we will be sending out a tip every single day during the season. Every day. We will be sending out, and it will be going out to our radio stations. We are encouraging the media, open up a slot in your programming for it. We will send it to you. You know that whenever you need information, you have that straight line to us. It is not, we want to encourage the public. It is not about seeing something on social media and just sharing it. We are not in the business of creating panic. Each and every system that's out there, the Met Services know of it. What we have to then make a decision on is whether or not it is information that we send out there, because you know some people, once you hear there's a system, we're still reeling from the effects of Ivan and Emily.
We panic.
We do panic. So once you hear there's a system out there, then we start to quiver. Everybody start, what should I do? Should I go and do the water? Go to the supermarket? We start now, we're not thinking anymore. We don't need that. That is not the required response.
But as you mentioned, people hear there's a system there. And they start, let me go water, let me get... Doesn't that say that the majority of our people are unprepared for a system?
They're not prepared. And that's why we keep... That's why we keep
long lines
and
in the
that's the reason why we tell you, all now, even before the season started, you should have checked your storage kit, your emergency storage kit, ensure that the expired goods and so that's there, that you would have replaced it. But what we want to drive home, you see that indiscriminate use of just sharing information on those media platforms, please. We want it to stop. It is not.
Point to 2016, I believe it is, when we had that issue with Kikum Jenny.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a group that purported that they're sharing information on behalf of the Grenadian people. And they were putting out stuff on Kikum Jenny. They were posting photos of this massive volcanic eruption.
Old, and not even that of Kikum Jenny. I remember.
It wasn't even from Grenada. Somewhere in the
I remember.
Asia or some place.
Mm-hmm. When you have this.
It caused Trinidadian newspapers to actually be posting information. It did affect some people who were coming on business trips and so on. They got afraid. And other people that were coming to Grenada. It did affect tourism, it did affect business and so on here in Grenada. And you're talking about significant amounts of money. Because I myself remember at a point in time I was in charge of the Ministry of Information and personally had to phone one of the newspapers in Trinidad and say, what you have just posted is not true. Because they were taking the information from this web page and they were posting it from a Facebook post and saying that we evacuated the town of Grenville and we've evacuated Sauters and all low-lying areas. And they posted photos of this massive thing outside of the water, things pitching into the air and so on, and saying this is what is taking place in Grenada now.
Sheldon, you know, as I would have said, I had a conversation on one of our media outfits recently. And as I had to explain to the host, Media landscape has changed. It has changed significantly. When we started in the media, when we worked together years ago, Sheldon, we did not have social media to combat with. We did not have social media to worry about. We sit down in the ministry, we know that we plan our schedule of things that we will be doing, and we know that we're going to get that done. Yeah? We take out the pictures, we do our magazines, we do what we had to do, and we got it done. Yeah? Now, we have that sofa to deal with, and we're still trying to grab on because we realize that I don't think people understand the effects of the things, the effects of our actions when we do it, and that footprint that it leaves there, and the challenge of people then digesting what is junk and what is healthy for us. That is where we are at.
Because even if you do a web search now, going back to 2016,
you would find them.
Jenny,
yeah,
you're still seeing the fake
yes,
information.
You would see it.
These people didn't even have the common decency
to remove
take
it
down.
No, they did not. They won't remove it. So whenever you go and see the picture. Yeah. Is it true? It's not. It is not true. And that is where I keep saying, as the media, we're still a part of the media. I am still a part of it. I would always be a part of the media. Before information is shared, it is our responsibility as the media to ensure that we verify information before we share them.
But you keep saying the media, but it's not just the media here. We have a major problem with a lot of private citizens who have a lot of reach that just decide that they're posting.
I understand that. I am speaking to I was speaking specifically to the scenario that you gave with the media outfit, because it is a bit of a challenge for us too here in Grenada with some, because remember now that digital media is what's trending. The print media, and so we don't have much of a concern. You don't worry too much about them, because they have time before they print. It's a couple of days well before we get to that point. Our digital media is what is our challenge. So before you see it, and ordinary people, because you see what you realize too, Sheldon, is that because of the media's role, because of who we are, be it a personality or an institution, once you post it, another person would see it and think, okay, so this is verified. Because you post it, it is correct. And then we start sharing. And then we know what happens here. It just keep going. It will just keep going. Yes, we know that we have the other challenge of private citizens going on, because we have our social media forecasters, those experts there, that also create panic for us. They do create a challenge for us, because you see it and you say, okay, the system is coming, but the system is far away and it's not close to us. And then people start worrying now. NADMA did not say anything about the system.
But this thing right there, NADMA ain't saying anything.
That's it.
And they start panicking.
Hello, geography is so much different to what you see on a satellite, because you see it there. We interpret it as though it's right outside our door. And when it comes to coordinates, it's far. We are advising against that. Please, let's think twice. When it comes to disaster management, we want you to think a good 5 times before you think of hitting that share button and just putting it up on social media.
Let me ask this question though. In NADMA's case, is there any move towards speeding up the process of providing up-to-date information to the general public? Because what you see Met Office in Trinidad posts something at 8 a.m. and NADMA posts nearly the same information similarly, but they put that information out at 10 or at 12. When Met Office in Trinidad has another set of information out, is something being done to speed up the process now? And I know it's not NADMA per se, because this is speaking with the forecasters and so on locally now. Is anything being done to speed up the process of how that information is sent out?
I know they are working at it, because when we get the information, as with everything else, we have a process. There is behind-the-scene process that we have to follow before we get to the point of dissemination. So Met is going to get the information. They will interpret. They will send. When they send, we receive. Now, we would put it into our format, get approval, and then we send. Yes? Once that were to happen, then we can disseminate. Met, and as I would have said elsewhere, the Met services, they are trying, but of course with the many challenges that they do have. The manpower, I know, is one of Met's biggest challenge. Whereas Trinidad may have a team of 100 that they can get things done quite quickly. Met does not have such pleasure. You have less than 20 people inside Med services, and yes, they are trying. So from time to time, you realize that we may be delayed in when it's sent out. So they would receive I think the Hurricane Center would send out information every 6 hours as it relates to systems. When you get it, I know every day they would send out, you have the outlook that they would send, one at 6. What we're advising is that you get them, you can just read them. So you share them because you would just speak to all systems that are outside, where they are, their coordinates, whether or not they have the potential of affecting you within our space. Share as bit. We are working to lessen the time, and that is one of our goals this time around. Sending out information a lot faster, and not just a lot faster, but sending out information. So like when we have a pending system, we go and send us something saying something is coming. And we know that one of the areas we get a lot of licks for is that you don't send out something after saying that maybe it has passed us, it is no longer a threat to us. So following up on information that we send out. So we are also working towards bettering that this season. Yeah?
Links with some of the media companies, not media companies, but telecom companies here in Grenada. Oftentimes you wake up this morning and you hear pling pling, you check your phone, there's a message from Flow, they have some special offer. Pling pling, there's a message from Digicel, they have some offer as well, that sort of thing, or you see from courts and so on. But during the run-up to a potential landfall of a system, we very rarely get messages from these organizations. Is there being put in place, or is there now a connection between NADMA communication and Flow and Digicel, so that, for instance, the information that you send out in your 8 o'clock, that I would get that from these two companies? Not that you shouldn't have to pay for it. It should be a national service that is coming out in an abbreviated form to the general public. You could only go a certain amount of characters anyway. We
do have access. The telecommunications company and NADMA, and they are a part of our structure. Because when we do meet on the advisory level, that of NEAC, as it's shortened, the National Emergency Advisory Council, they are a part of that structure. So what we have to do, what we will be doing, because it is a part of what we are doing too. Because then we now have to compress the message to make it most effective, because we have a limit. But I cannot say that we don't have access. Because if you remember when we did the tsunami exercise this year, that was one of the things that we tested. Using their platforms, the blast messaging, to send out messages so that everybody gets something on your phone that something is happening. It is one of the mediums that we're looking at, that we will be using this time around as it relates to systems, pending systems. Now that we're into the season, I realized Nawasa was using it during the extended dry season, sending out messages and so to the public, and we will be doing the same. So, but we may not be able to use it every day, where we can send out something every day, and it does not cost us actually, because as I said, they are a part of our structure. It falls under emergency services, which also governs, I believe, some of the terms of the license that is given to them to operate from the NTRC. So I cannot say that we have a challenge there. They always work with us.
One listener, viewer is asking, what about a NADMA app? Do you all have one in development?
We don't have one, but it is a part of the conversation that there is a project now with the NTRC where we are hoping to develop that app from there. We have a number of service providers that would have approached us on it, but something like that, it's important that we have access, not just access, but in control of the information that's filtered through that medium. So it is part of a project that will be coming up through the NTRC, through the communication arm of the NTRC, where we will be able to develop an app that we can advisable. You can download it, We are ensuring now that what we're doing is going through other apps that falls under that same emergency services, to make sure that when we do one, that it's effective, that it's easy to access, and of course that we can that it achieves the goal of sharing information through by all. And then through that, then we can link it to other apps that we have, people operating, be it private or public, to ensure that we reach as much people as possible. But it is a part of our long-term goal, because we know that is where the world is going. Technology is trending, and is the apps that's easiest to access information.
An app like that, though, I'm just thinking it over, and in my mind, I wouldn't make it specific to NADMA, but I would make it in case, for instance, there's a missing child, that everyone could be notified via that app.
But that, you see, that's what I'm saying.
That there's a traffic problem, people could be notified.
But remember,
so it shouldn't be specific
all of these
to NADMA.
agencies are NADMA.
Yeah.
Police, traffic.
Yeah.
Remember that. So even
it
though
can't
you
be a
make it,
NADMA,
even though you make it NADMA is all the agencies and all the issues that we're speaking of there. So it is not a problem. It is similar to that of, there was a project that and I know it is still a discussion, what we call the CAP project. It is an interceptor device that there should have been a trial run in some of the stations. So whenever we do have an emergency, you see like how you have it in the US, when there's a tornado warning. We're sitting in Grenada and we see just pop up on the bottom of the screen as a runner at the bottom, tornado warning for Colorado or wherever. That is what the CAP system does. You don't have to tell it that you're coming. There's a system, we trigger it, and it would intercept whatever programming you have. And you get to share the information. So we're hoping that whatever we do can be something like that. Because remember, we're not only preparing for the hurricane season, we're preparing for all hazards. Tsunamis doesn't give us notice, nor do those earthquakes. We cannot plan for them.
And
so whatever we do.
Grenada can also be affected by volcano. We have a live
very well.
volcano.
We have active systems. We have two. We have Kikem, Jenny, and we have Catherine. It's important that whatever...
You rewind. You said Mount St. Catherine. A lot of folks actually don't know that Mount St. Catherine is a live volcano.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it's not a dormant volcano.
It's not dormant, no. Okay. It's not. It is an active one. You know that we do have the Boiling Spring up there, right?
Yeah.
Its presence speaks to a lot.
So you could blow it up. Anyway,
but let us not even speak of it.
We ain't going down.
It is an active one. We have two active volcanoes on island, Kikem, Jenny, and Mount St. Catherine. But they all behave. They are behaving, and we're monitoring them. US Seismic monitors both systems. So anytime there is elevation in the activity, we know, and that is when we usually lift the alerts and so you know what to do. If you have to evacuate, you have to move, you will know before. It would not be a surprise in the case of the volcanoes.
Yeah, they usually give a little rumble.
They do. They do have some activities when they're about to do something. So it would not just happen.
Don't go screaming, no, don't go up Mount St. Catherine and
so no need to worry. No need to worry. But yes.
But still be careful.
Yes, you have to be prepared, still be prepared. But we are working, on that app and other alerting systems. There should be one coming on. I wouldn't even start to speak of this one, but we would share more information as we get closer to sealing the deal on another national alerting system that government is working on.
I wonder, boy. Let me see if I could figure it out. So what, Molly, going to siren around the place and them kind of things.
Sheldon.
Air raid sirens.
Sheldon, I'm sure this platform, this medium will be used to share all about it. It's something that we're looking forward to.
Tell me, I feel as an air raid siren. I'll go and pass siren and tongue, and in case anything.
Sheldon, you just want to know before you know.
Yeah, because I know Real FM need the news and We FM need the news. So anyway, we will behave. We will behave for now.
Yes. So we will be sharing. We will be sharing on it.
Folks, 10 more minutes remaining on today's program, and I hope you're getting a lot of information here. And we will be getting pretty soon, because I think most likely that's at Cabinet this morning, the list of shelters.
Yes. We will be sharing the list of shelters. Yeah. So once Cabinet approves it, then of course we will be sharing with the general public. And know your shelters. When we release the list, please. There may not be a shelter in your area where you live, but there may be one close to you. And what we ask of you rather, is that you know understand your structure. You know you live in a wooden structure and you don't think that structure will be able to withstand winds that we may get from a tropical system, a category 1. Let's not even speak of a 5 because we know this one takes it to another level. Yeah. Please, know your structure. Know where you live. Because it doesn't take an engineer to stand up outside and just look at your home and say, but I don't find I could make it, inside here. I don't think I might be safe if we were to be affected by our system, right? Know your structure, look at it, do your personal assessment. Know the shelters, know where they are. And if you're in doubt, go to the shelters. Once we open up the shelters, go to the shelter. But you must know where they are so that you can plan accordingly. And that's why we say being prepared, all that falls under the banner of being prepared. You knowing where your shelters are, knowing your structure that you live in, assessing it, figuring out whether or not you think you can make it, and plan in advance. So you know that you want to leave your home long before the wind start to blow and the rain start to fall. Because we know that going out under those conditions increases your risk of getting damage, getting yourselves in trouble. We need to avoid that at all costs.
Let me ask this one. How has NADMA been working along with some of the private businesses, statutory bodies, and even government institutions in relation to institution of disaster plans? Earthquake, for instance, I know back in our days at the ministerial complex, and we're talking here 2007, 2006, those days there. She was a child back then. She was still a teenager. Anyway.
Really? Working in the ministry, right?
Yeah, he was working in the ministry as a teenager.
As a teenager?
Yeah. We ain't selling out your age.
All right,
That's
Sheldon.
what I'm trying to do.
Fine, okay, no problem. That's all right.
Right. Because you could still pass
I still
21.
look like 15, I know.
Yeah, still passing as 21. All passing as that. But anyway, back in those days, I know at the ministerial complex, they had floor captains and people that were responsible for different areas.
Uh-huh.
And in case of an earthquake or some sort of disaster or a threat, these were the persons that were responsible for getting everyone out.
Ensuring everybody was out.
Yeah.
So sweeping the place, making sure everybody's out, nobody's hiding anywhere because they started panicking kind of thingy.
That's a ministerial complex, but we have the hospital, we have other areas, schools and so on. How has NADMA been working along with these groupings and private businesses like Huggins, Hubbard's, be it Carriacou, whoever? How have you been working along with private businesses?
What I can say is, let's start with commending our private sector agencies. Like we can put one on the table here, and that of Huggins, of coming to NADMA. Huggins did not wait for us to come to them. Mm-hmm. Huggins took in front. Huggins is getting their house in order, even without us having to tell them. They came to us, and what they would have done was, they try to be a part of everything that we do. So when we did the Caribbean wave exercise in March, Huggins did use it as an opportunity to check their readiness as it relates to tsunamis. Looking at where all their stores are, all their branches are, who is within the hazard zone, identifying their evacuation or their muster points, their safe points, so that their workers can go there. So while they did not do an evacuation, identifying is good enough, and people knowing where your safe points are is critically important. So your route and where your safe points are. Also at that time we had the GTA also would have been a part of it. They did an evacuation. We had Sol EC of fuel companies dead within our hazard zone, and of course you know that they have to be on the shorelines because of the business that they're involved in. Mm-hmm. Right. So we had they were also a part of the evacuation for Caribbean Way for that tsunami readiness. So Sheldon, I think that is giving an idea as to what we have been doing with private government institutions and so. In our schools, there is a project that SEDIMA has just launched in several Caribbean islands that we have also signed on to, the School Safety Project, where our schools now are mandated to have an emergency plan in place. Not just have one and test it annually. We have also signed on to this. In the past, though, NADMA, we are always into our school system. Now what we realize is our principals are no longer waiting for us to come and say, so now we have Disaster Awareness Week, to call you and tell them that we want to come to your school to do a presentation. They are calling us to do a presentation. Right? We are also about to go do a presentation, Belmont Estate. the private entities now are calling us. We're seeing a positive shift in thought as to how people treat disasters and hazards. We are getting there, I must say that. We are getting there. The signs are there to show that we are getting there. Day by day, we are getting there. So we have GDB calling, you want to do a presentation with your staff. And you know that once we get staff prepared in their workplaces, it means our communities, by extension, will be prepared. Our homes are getting there. It starts somewhere, and of course, there. Once we start, then we can build a house. So it's safe to say that the foundation is looking solid, and that eventually we can get to the place where we can say that we have a people that have developed a culture of safety and prevention. So these are some of the things that we're doing. We're going to call you from time to time, depending on what we have planned. But now we realize now that you're not waiting for us to call you anymore. You're calling us, and we're going to them. We would have had a presentation with our senior management team, so our PSs and so, presentations to them. The ministries, we said we're starting home. So we starting with government institutions, and by extension, we move out in the private sector. But we're leaving nobody, no stones unturned. So Sandals would have called. We're always in SGU. SGU is a model for what an institution, a culture of safety, buildings built with where they put their faucets and their sockets, and so where they are, how they are designed, alerting system. Every room in SGU has a fire alert or an emergency alerting system inside it. And SGU is also a part of NADMA. SGU is also a part of NADMA. They do have representatives when we do our advisory council meetings. So that's why we say we're not leaving anybody behind.
Great.
We are not leaving anyone behind. We're working. We are working. Behind the scenes, we're always out there doing something. And of course, we know that through those means, because the workplace is a controlled environment, we know that once your workplace showing interest, then eventually workers will get to where we want them to be. By extension, communities and our country find the leg of things. So we are getting there, Sheldon, and we're working with everyone to make sure you know what you have to do. And remember, we don't just preach the hurricane season, but we prepare you for every hazard. So we are guided by the principles of comprehensive disaster management, ensuring that, yes, we may be in the hurricane season because cyclones come with many hazards in one: floods, fire. Everything can happen within a hurricane. But let's not even talk about the tsunamis and the earthquakes that we can't plan for. They're going to pop up at any time. So we have to prepare you for everything.
Okay. In our final minute, any further information you'd like to give on this week of activities for the general public, how they can become part of it?
We just want you to be a part. The events that were planned, I'm sure from what you heard, it's quite engaging. It is more coming to you than you coming to us for it. So we might go to the schools. You may have a question that you may want to send us. We're coming into the communities. When you see us, when we're moving around, please feel free. Come and speak to us. Tell us what are your thoughts, what you think we can improve, where we can get better. We're working for you. We're working for you, the public. All that we do, if you're not prepared or you're not satisfied with what we do, then it's almost as if we're not working. So engage us. On our community engagement days, when we come into the community, we see the district people, the police is a part of NADMA. Share your concern. Maybe you think that a shelter needs to go there. We can explain to you how shelters are how we put shelters in different places. What are the requirements that they need to meet? It cannot be just a house because it's a concrete structure that it can be a shelter. There are prescribed requirements that a shelter have to meet before it can be assigned, before it can be designated a shelter. So these are the things that we want to know. This is not just about us telling you be prepared. We need to tell you why we do it. From time to time, we will need to explain why we do this, unlike doing that. And this is what we want to do. Through that means, the fact that you know that you can speak to us and we have that synergy, it means you will feel confident to pick up your phone when something's happening in your community and tell us this is happening there. And I think maybe NADMA needs to step in. We can tell you maybe that does not fall under our jurisdiction, but we can tell you where to go. We can assist, and that is what we want to do. At NADMA, it is our job, it's our business to ensure that each and every Grenadian is safe, but we can only do so if you feel comfortable enough to speak to us, share with us so that we know that what we're doing, that we're meeting your expectations. We may not be able to please everyone, but what's important is that we know that we share that very special relationship, that we're not working in silos, that we're working for us. We're not working for us, we're working for you.
All right. And folks, we've been speaking with Miss Oslin Crosby. She's the communication officer at the National Disaster Management Agency, NADMA. And this week, we're having a week of activities. In fact, Saturday, we started
with the national address.
Yes, with the national address.
Senator would have recorded the national address. We had the messages in our churches. Saturday and Sunday was read out by our district people and also the people within the churches. Today, remember, beyond the headlines tonight, Senator Gara will be there, Mr. McIntyre and also Mr. White from Net Services. Tomorrow we have we continue our secondary school engagement. On Wednesday we have our community engagement day when we go out into the communities. We share information with you, but we also want to hear from you. On Thursday we have the final of the quiz at Red Cross. And we also have a handing over ceremony from the Grenada Council of the Disabled on Wednesday, where they'll be handing over some of the stuff that we spoke of, some of the other stuff that we have to outfit some of our shelters with. They have a number of stuff to hand over to us. And so we'll be doing that during the weekend. And on Friday, we climax with an open house in front of the Esplanade Mall. We are encouraging you. Engage us. You see us around. You will get an opportunity to see who NADMA's staff is on our Facebook pages. We'll be sharing our Facebook page. We'll be sharing tips, and so we're bombarding you with information that will just drive the message home that it's important that we are prepared, and of course for you to contact us, speak to us, share with us, and of course we're not encouraging, we're rather speaking out against the indiscriminate use of sharing disaster related information that has not been verified on social media, creating unnecessary panic. It is not doing any good for us. It is creating a problem for us. So we're asking you, please, we're asking nicely that we cease and desist from it. Please, just stop. You're not sure? Don't say. In doubt, don't share.
All right. Folks, that's all the time we have for Hard Talk today. We'd like to thank Ms. Crosby for joining us this morning on Hard Talk. And we'd like to thank all of the stations, all of the listeners, all of the viewers who tuned in with us this morning. Saw one or two of you calling there, but the conversation, it was kind of important to let it be completed. So that's all the time we have for today. And whatever you say and do it safe and secure. We want to be speaking to and with you and not about you. Love each and every one of you. Back tomorrow. Remember, tomorrow we're starting with the post-cabinet press briefing, and then we'll be moving on to Hard Talk. Thank you.
Save the environment. Save the environment. Save the environment.
Eastern Caribbean Telecommunications Authority to launch mobile portability number on Monday. Details to this story and more in the national report. Welcome back. With the news for Friday, May 31st, 2019, I am Sherian Noel. The Eastern Caribbean Telecommunications Authority, ECTEL, will officially launch the mobile number portability in Grenada on Monday. Mobile number portability enables consumers to keep their current mobile telephone numbers when switching from one mobile telephone operator to another. This service removes the inconvenience of phone users having to inform their contacts, family and friends of a new number after changing their mobile service provider. ECTEL says the service will be launched in all 5 member states. A formal announcement was made on May 23rd at the 39th ECTEL Council of Ministers meeting in St. Lucia. Ectel Council member and Grenada's Minister of Infrastructure Development, Public Utilities, Energy, Transport and Implementation, Honorable Gregory Boeing, says mobile customers in the Spice Isle have been expecting mobile number portability for quite a while.
In the case of Grenada in particular, I think that the consumers are looking to be able to switch between providers for better services, better pricing, and the other. And I know that not only the providers will be put on notice, they are acutely aware. And in fact, because of the soft launches that have been done before while we're testing, you see the migrations of people to each other. They will come to the ministry, they've asked what is going on because they want to move.
The MNP project began in 2015 with a decision by the Ectel Council of Ministers to implement local number portability for both fixed and mobile phones. The introduction of the MNP means that consumers can now switch their attention to other telecommunications issues such as service quality, service offerings and price. Honorable Boeing said MNP will be beneficial to customers and will open up opportunities for the providers as well.
We must be able now to measure the quality of service, because I think persons coming for a new phone will look at what is the NTRC, what is Ectel saying about this person's particular quality of service, and the new, so there's an opportunity for the provider to take the new customers. And at the same time, if they do not provide the quality of service, then you'll see a shift across the board. So I think across the Ectel states, the expectation is more or less the same.
Prime Minister and Minister of National Security, Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell, has encouraged traffic wardens to continue their good work and not to be deterred by any attempt to intimidate them. Traffic wardens were recruited, trained and deployed earlier this year to bolster the operations of the Traffic Department of the Royal Grenada Police Force. Meeting with the 43 traffic wardens on Thursday, the Prime Minister said he is impressed with their work and he has also received positive feedback from members of the public. He urged the traffic wardens to understand that they have an important role to play in the overall stability and security of the country. He said this is not just a job, you are carrying out an important function. The significance of your role is not simply limited to traffic, but it must be seen in the wider context of stability and order of this country. As you provide support to the RGPF in dealing with traffic issues, police officers can then dedicate more time to dealing proactively with crime so that Grenada can protect its image as one of the countries with the least amount of crime.
We believe the police have enough work, so they need support specific in an area becoming more and more problem, and they should be less involved directly in the question of traffic. So that was how the concept was born. It's in the whole context of security, not just limited to traffic, a traffic jam. It's much deeper than that, right? So see yourself as not just as a passing element in this area. You are part of an essential component of the stability and order of this country. I want you to first understand this. But I go further to make the point. When I pass the street and I see you guys, you have already demonstrated that you feel a sense of importance. Because I watch your faces as I go around, and you look proud to be wearing the uniform. And you make me proud to see how you look. And it tells me that you don't see this as just a job. You see that as an important function of responsibility for your own society.
The Prime Minister and Minister for National Security told traffic wardens to have no fear in executing their duties.
Some people try to scare you, to make you afraid of them. You ought not to be afraid of anything. Just do your work. Do your work. If you see something wrong on the road, you have to apply a measure of penalty to it. For doing it, do it. And fear no one, because you have the full backing of the law behind you and the country behind you, because people are already speaking about about the discipline that they're seeing among yourselves. People are proud to see you guys out there. I'm telling you, I get it from the public. That's why I'm giving you what I get. If you were not doing that, I would tell you exactly what I'm hearing today. So I just want you, do not allow anyone to scare you off from doing what is right. If you allow them, then you're allowing them to affect your own future and your job. They have theirs. You want to keep yours. So therefore, my real advice to you, keep on doing what you're doing. We will be behind you, and you will feel a sense of satisfaction for the work that you're producing to the country as a whole.
Thursday's meeting was also attended by Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Infrastructure Development, Public Utilities, Energy and Transport, Ms. Kim Frederick, Acting Commissioner of Police Edwin Martin, Assistant Commissioner of Police Jesmond Prince, and Officer in charge of the Traffic Department, Superintendent Randy Carnott. This is the National Report. More news after the break.
The countdown is on to Grenada's most exciting music festival. Friday, 7th June is Sol EC Limited Rhythm and Soul Night with Carrie Hilson, the legendary Freddie Jackson, Eddie Bullen, and Jefferson Ramirez. Saturday, 8th June is Wester Hall Rum Reggae Fest featuring Busy Signal, Maxi Priest, Kimani Marley, Tamara St. Bernard, and more. The festival climaxes on Sunday, 9th June with a George F. Huggins Soca Fusion featuring the All-Stars with Tennyson John and Blacks, Patrice Roberts, West Ways, Jab King, and more. Gates open 7 p.m., showtime 9 p.m. Advance tickets $80 Friday and Saturday, $60 on Sunday, and are available island-wide. Limited VIP and season tickets at Grenada Optical and GoToFet.com. Grenada Music Festival 2019. Get your tickets today. Sponsors: Silver Sands Grenada, Hennessy, the Antillian Group, Coca-Cola, St. George's University, Glen Elch Springwater, and Netherlands Insurance.
Possessing the ability to speak a second or even third language is essential in today's world. The Alliance Francaise is working with grade 6 students of the St. Martin de Porres RC School to stir their interest in the subject at an early age. The 4-week program introduces the students who are gearing up to commence secondary school in September to basic greetings and responses. Rikisha St. Louis paid a visit to the school and filed this report.
With reports that the number of students writing French at the CXC level has been dwindling over the years, the Alliance Francaise wants to revive interest in the language. The number of students attending private French lessons offered by the institution is also getting smaller. Director at the Alliance Francaise, Mrs. Ilona Fort-Gilbert, said by introducing French in primary schools, there is hope that most students will develop an interest and continue to study the language at the CXC level and beyond.
Brainstorming to see how we can curb that problem, see how we can try to control it at the root. I came up with the idea that maybe we should try to see how we can introduce it at the primary level, because there was a program introducing French at the primary level a few years ago. It was financed by the French embassy, but it didn't pull through, right? So I thought that I'll start with one school, and of course, since this is my alma mater, I was biased towards this school, so I decided to offer my voluntary service to this school and eventually see how we could extend it to other schools in the coming years.
She says the program also highlights the importance of the language and the many professions available locally within the French industry.
We have a growing French community. We have about 60 persons here on the island, French nationals, and then we have French cruise ships coming in every year. You know, so we need to be able to accommodate these people. They go to the supermarkets, they go to the banks, they do business. There should be people in these business places who can at least have a basic conversation with these people when they come.
Principal Castellanes is optimistic that the program will be expanded to include other grades in the school.
The students, as they are learning the French, throughout the compound, you're hearing them reciting the words, reciting the phrases, the occupations, and so that they're learning. And the other students are hearing also, and they are catching on into it. So it is our hope that somewhere along the line we would be able to incorporate the other students into learning. And We believe that this can have a ripple effect because we do hope that in the future some of the students who start their French classes here can go on, complete their secondary education, maybe go on to tertiary education, and at the end of it return to the school so that they can give back.
The students are enjoying the program and shared some of what they have learned.
Bonjour, je m'appelle Selena McIntyre. It is very good. I'm enjoying myself actually. It's really fun to learn another language.
Bonjour, je m'appelle Destiny Abraham. I really enjoyed the French class. I learned the alphabet, how to say I don't understand, how to say yes miss, how to say no miss, how to say I know, how to say what is your name, and lots of other stuff.
Bonjour, je m'appelle, I show him what I learn. I think French helped me by having a good head start in secondary school, so I can be a little farther than the other students. Secondary school.
For the National Report, I am Rakisha St. Louis.
And finally, the Traffic Department of the Royal Grenada Police Force took its message of road safety to the streets this week, with students and teachers from St. George's adding their voices to the initiative. It is part of Police Week activities under the theme, United We Stand to Fight Against Sexual Abuse and Violent Crimes, promoting road safety and practicing healthy lifestyles. With as many as 200 reported cases of accidents per month, 10 of which are serious, the RGPF used Wednesday's exercise to appeal to drivers and pedestrians to ensure safety on the road. Inspector Randall Batiste, officer attached to the Traffic Department, says the public must meet them halfway to ensure life and limb are protected.
The Traffic Department of the Royal Grenada Police Force will continue to do what is necessary to ensure that our roads users are kept safe on the nation roads, and the ways we'll go about doing this is by having regular mobile and radar patrol, meaning that we'll have officers up there doing a number of speed checks, and we'll be doing a lot of nightly and weekly traffic checks and traffic operations to ensure that we keep the road safe and deal with all illegal activities that may occur during our presence on the road. We chose that by having these regular checks, it will definitely aid in a deterrent to prevent crimes, to prevent traffic offenses from being committed. And that will be a plus for us if our presence can be of a deterrent. We'll have less offenses, traffic offenses being committed on our roads. And if we can cut down on the amount of traffic offenses on our roads, that in itself will aid in a reduction of accidents and will definitely make our road much safer.
He commended the exemplary work of the traffic wardens who are helping to increase road safety.
As we know now, we have a number of wardens working throughout the Tri-Island state, and traffic by no means least has about 11 to 14 wardens operating, and they are doing a very, very good job at this time in giving human resource that is most needed right now at the traffic department, dealing with all different traffic infractions. So I want to say hats off to them and commend them for the job they have been doing thus far.
Now to recap the top story. Eastern Caribbean Telecommunications Authority to launch mobile portability number on Monday. And with this, we come to the end of the National Report for Friday, May 31st. On behalf of the entire news team, I'm Sherian Noel, thanking you for viewing.